Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Andrea.
And I'm Haley.
And you're listening to Inhuman, a true crime podcast. Okay, is there any business?
Okay, so there's a couple of things happening in the true crime world, sort of, that we just wanted to share about before we dive into today's case. First of all, if you are still following the Gabby Petito case / the search for Brian Laundrie, there is no update. That is the update. They're still searching for Brian, so just keep your eyes out. He does have tattoos, specifically one on his hand. So it's like a leaf on one of his fingers or like a vine. So just, if you're especially on any like trails or campsites or anything, just keep your eyes out.
I know Matt was like, he showed me this thing on Facebook. He's like, look. And I read it and it was like, dog, the bounty hunter caught Brian Laundrie. I was like, that is not real. I was like, get out of here with that crap. That is not real. But
I know.
Yeah. So don't believe what you read on Facebook.
No, don't believe what you read on Facebook and just keep your eyes open. You just never know what you might see. But I just wanted to share the fact mostly that there are no updates because I know a lot of people have been following that case. And then even more exciting, there is a pretty big update in the Madeleine McCann case. So if you don't know that case, don't look it up because we're going to be covering it in Thursday's episode of this week. But basically, it is a little girl who went missing while on a family trip in Portugal years and years ago, and there has been no suspects really. It's just like a completely cold case, and they now believe that they have a suspect. So yeah, but don't look it up now. I'll cover all of that on Thursday's episode. I'm going to cover the whole case and then the current updates and what's going on now.
If you're a true crime addict, though, like us, you probably know at least a little bit about that because that's one of those cases that just eats you up, especially because, she was such a tiny, young little girl. So I really hope that this goes somewhere and that it is what it is,
Yeah, I know. And there was a whole Netflix documentary on it, so you've probably seen that if you are a true crime documentary. But it's just, there's so much back and forth of, are the parents involved? Is it something else? It's just such a crazy case. And so I really hope that they are able to confirm this and, get justice for little sweet Madeleine.
Yeah, me too. There was some suspects, these brothers, I can't remember their last names.
Oh, that's right.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but it kind of got brushed under the rug because they were in the political, whatever realm. So yeah, I really hope that they finally get some justice for this little girl.
I know, me too. But yeah, so you can look forward to that in Thursday's episode. But today, Andrea is going to be covering an awesome case, I think. I actually did not look at the document, so I don't know what she's covering, so I'm excited.
It's not really even a case. It's more of I don't know. It's a little spooky story because I feel like it's spooky season. We said we were going to bring you guys some spooky stuff, and we've had some heavy stuff over the last few weeks, and I know, that's what we do. That's why we're here. But, every once in a while, it's nice to throw something different into the mix, and that is what I'm going to be doing today.
I'm so excited.
But before I get started, I just wanted to address something from a previous episode that I covered. I just want to apologize to Natalie and her family for mispronouncing their last name. It is Holloway, not Halloway, which was a big mistake of mine. I'd also like to just address the person who left us the review stating that I mispronounced their last name due to being young or being unintelligent, not doing my research, or not caring about the case. I can assure you that absolutely none of those reasons are true. Firstly, I am in my 30s. I know I may not sound like it because I am a millennial and I say and stuff, but that's just who I am. That's just who we are, really.
Yeah.
I also have a bachelor's degree, a bachelor's of science degree, and for that case and pretty much all of the cases that I research, I did hours and hours of research, and I also listened to other podcasts on the case, but we're human. We just make mistakes. You know, we've never claimed to be perfect here on Inhuman, and I am willing to bet more mistakes will be made in the future as we learn and grow.
Yep.
My mistake was not intentional, nor was it meant to be disrespectful, but I do thank you for your review and bringing that to my attention. And lastly, to all of our listeners, always remember to be kind.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we appreciate corrections, especially when we say things wrong. Like Andrea just said, we're not perfect. We don't know everything. And oftentimes, at least I know for me, I do a lot of research reading articles, so I don't always actually hear pronunciations of things. And so, you know, we make those mistakes, and we do appreciate you guys correcting us, but just try to be kind about it. You know, we're not mispronouncing things or saying things wrong to try to on purpose, where it's totally a mistake. And so, you know, we're happy for you to correct us and help us learn and grow, but just please be kind about it. You know, constructive criticism is appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. We are mature enough to handle constructive criticism. Sometimes it's not always given to us in that way, and that's okay. Everyone's got their own demons to deal with, but you know, I just wanted to kind of say that because most importantly, I do want to apologize because I did go back and listen because I know her last name is Holloway, not Halloway. And I went back to listen after I read the review, and I was like, shit, I did mispronounce it. And I remember thinking the whole time, don't say Halloway, because maybe it's my southern accent. I want to just say Halloway or Halloway or what, you know, it's I'm not going to make excuses for myself, but I remember trying to remind myself make sure you say it right. And I only said it once or twice, so yeah, it is what it is.
And speaking of reviews and stuff, if you guys do have a couple seconds and haven't reviewed us, please be sure to leave us a rating and review. As of this morning, we were at 99 ratings. So that's almost double what our goal was for this year. And we're actually showing up on Apple and Spotify true crime podcast playlist charts. And so the more you guys review, the more we get pushed out, and we really appreciate every single review, even the not so positive ones. But if you are enjoying this podcast and you're listening on Apple, if you wouldn't mind leaving us a little review, we would so
greatly appreciate it. That's right. Okay, so now let's get on to my spooky story, my episode for today. It's going to be a little mix of History 101 and a little spooky, scary skeletons.
Oh, I love this. It's fall weather today. I'm drinking an iced chai with pumpkin cold foam. I am just all for this right now.
Yes. So a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit of history, but I am covering the Winchester Mystery House. Dun, dun,
oh my gosh.
Dun.
Okay. So I feel like I've heard this, but I also can't remember anything about it. So I am so pumped right now.
So the first time I heard about this, Matt and I were actually watching some show on the History Channel several years ago, years and years and years ago. And I remember thinking it sounded so neat and so interesting, the details of this woman and the house that she built and everything like that. And then when I was trying to think of spooky cases that were not too far off the ghostly deep end,
right,
that had a lot of, you know, information about it, this was the first one that popped into my mind. So I was I'm gonna cover it during spooky season. So here we are.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Okay, so Sarah Winchester, who was the heir of the Winchester gun fortune. So if you are a gun enthusiast or know anything about guns, one of the brands is Winchester. She was quite the eccentric woman. She was the widow of firearms mogul William Wirt Winchester. So technically he would have been the, you know, breadwinner, and then he passed away, so she became the heir to that fortune.
Girl power.
Yeah. Well, I don't know because
Oh gosh. Okay.
you'll see. I don't want to give too much
Okay.
away. And William unfortunately passed away on March 7th of 1881. So we're throwing it way back. And his cause of death was tuberculosis, which was very common during that time.
Yeah.
The couple had also had one child, Annie Pardee, who unfortunately died about a month after birth in 1866.
That's so sad. I feel like, it's like, okay, kind of a side note, but if you guys don't follow the account on TikTok where she cleans old graves.
Oh, yes.
What is her name?
I don't know. It's
okay, hold on. I'm going to look it up because like she cleans old graves, so it's like really satisfying. But then she also
like tells
their stories.
Yeah.
And I feel like so many of them die of consumption, so that's what made me think of it. But okay, her TikTok is Manic Pixie Mom. And it's I love her account. Like she does such a good job of telling the stories.
Yeah. And
so anyway, just a side note, but that made me think of that.
Yeah. It's super satisfying to watch her like clean. And it's nice to, I mean, I know that's probably her job, but it's still nice to know like somebody still cares about that kind of stuff.
No, it's not her job.
Oh, it's not?
She's doing it like just because she like wants to be a good person.
Aw. Well, that makes it. I like her even more now.
Yeah. But a lot of people in early times died of tuberculosis.
Yeah. Which they call consumption because they like...
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
I don't even know, like, because they can't breathe, so it's like, I don't know.
It, like,
I really
consumes
don't.
you?
Yeah, it does. Like, they're coughing and they can't breathe and they just die. It's kind of sad what happens to those people. Luckily, we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Anyway, rant over. Like, side note, derailing over. Let's get back to it.
Okay, so obviously devastated by the death of her husband and her daughter, Sarah reportedly consulted with a psychic, which I feel like for those times, I don't know, is that common? I feel like that's not a very common practice for those times to like do something like that. So
I feel like it's not, but then at the same time, like, I feel like witches and things like that were kind of a thing, so maybe it's not that far out. But I feel like it wasn't as common.
Yeah. So this psychic informed Sarah that the victims killed by the Winchester rifles her family manufactured were seeking revenge by taking the lives of her family.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I remember when I like was watching that show that like they said that and I was like, oh my God. Like, I don't know. That could totally happen, I guess.
I mean, it's like Iron Man producing weapons or Stark Industries producing weapons, and then you're like getting, what's the word, like blamed for that. It's kind of a similar,
like, it's not their fault because like what people choose to do, like it's the person who is holding the gun, like it's their responsibility, their actions and consequences, but spirits do what they want to do, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. They might not know that you're not the one doing it.
Right. The psychic also told Sarah that the spirits had placed a curse on her and that if she wanted to live, she must appease them by moving out west and constantly, without ceasing, build a house for them day and night.
Oh, I have heard this. I just realized what this is. Yes. Oh my gosh.
So, after a few years after her husband's death, Sarah moved from New Haven, Connecticut, where she and William lived, to San Jose, California, to officially start over.
That's crazy.
She purchased a small farmhouse and soon began the renovation project on the home. Originally, the 8-room farmhouse would soon become one of the most infamous and mysterious mansions ever built.
Yeah.
So the I don't know what word I was trying to say. The renovations began in 1884 and did not cease until Sarah passed away in 1922.
That is freaking wild.
That's so much labor and so much money.
Yeah.
It said that by the end, like by her death, she spent $5 million on renovations. And that's that time frame's
right
money equivalent, you know?
Right.
Not today's money.
Today.
It's probably like
that's like
$75 million or something.
How much? It was $5 million.
Yeah.
13 million. About
wow.
13. Oh wait, 1 million in 1920 is 13 million today. So
5 times 13.
65 million. So you were
close.
close.
Yeah, it was close.
So like
wow.
65, 75 million.
That's crazy. Okay.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money. So, as I mentioned before, the renovations were literally around the clock and they were ever changing. The Winchester Mansion was known as a modern marvel. It had indoor plumbing, central heating, a hot shower, and elevators galore, which for that time was like unheard of.
Yeah.
The mansion had over 160 rooms and 40 bedrooms, 10,000 windows, and 2 basements.
How does it have 2 basements?
I don't know if they were side by side or if they were one under the other. I assume one under the other.
Right.
But they obviously had 2 different like entrances to get to them. This unique home had many outstanding elements of Victorian architecture and exquisite craftsmanship. There are rooms with gold-plated fixtures, elegant doors, and windows of stained Tiffany glass, set in silver, which if you know anything about stained Tiffany glass, it's super expensive and it's like really hard to come by.
Is that like the really pretty like stained glass?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
However, among the modern marvels and beautiful accents were some very unique details. First of all, not all 2,000 doors in the home could be opened and walked through.
So why would you have a door if you can't open it?
Well, we'll get to that in just a moment.
Okay.
One of the doors led to an 8-foot drop into the kitchen sink. Another led to a 15-foot drop off into bushes in the garden below.
Why?
We'll get to it. Okay. So there were staircases leading straight into ceilings. Some of the expensive Tiffany stained glass windows were installed in places where no light would pass through, and there were multiple secret passages.
That's spooky.
There is also a cabinet that, when open, would extend through 30 rooms of the house.
Wow.
That's insane. It's like, what was that book? Finding Narnia? No, not Finding Narnia. What is it called?
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
Yeah. Like they walk through the wardrobe and they're like in this whole other world.
Right.
So, as I mentioned before, there are some spooky theories as to why Sarah moved from Connecticut to California and began building this mansion. One theory being that, like I said, she spoke to a psychic and that psychic told her to move and that the spirits of the people killed by the Winchester guns demanded it. Another theory was that Sarah believed that as soon as construction was complete, she would die. Which,
oh gosh,
in a way, that is what happened, but it's more of, you know, she died and the construction was finally able to stop, as opposed to vice versa.
Yeah.
Another theory suggests that she built the house like a maze in order to keep her paranormal tormentors at bay and to try and invade them, as she would sleep in a different room every night and take different paths through her home daily.
Wow.
So that
she was like fully freaked out. Like
she was convinced. She was either seeing some shit or really believed like what the psychic had told her, which sounds just like a horrible life to live.
Yeah.
So basically she built this crazy, you know, maze of a house to evade the spirits. So that would account for like why there was the staircases and the secret passages and all that.
Right. Okay. So that makes sense. She was trying to like throw them off and have it be okay.
Yeah.
I understand.
Which, like, you know, spirits, I guess, can travel through stairs and walls and things. So,
yeah.
But in her mind, you know, maybe that was like the safest thing for her to do.
So basically, she's building this house nonstop because if not, she's going to die.
Yeah.
But she's also, while she's building it, trying to make it tricky so that any potential spirits will get confused.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
And it makes me wonder if she really was being, like, tormented by something.
Yeah.
You know?
She must have been.
She had to have been.
Like, I get the continuing construction because she doesn't want to die.
Yeah.
But the making it all, like, crazy, she must have, like, been somewhat tormented by it.
Yeah. In 1906, a massive earthquake occurred and crushed the top 3 stories of the house while also damaging the other 4 stories along with it. It's rumored that Sarah thought this to be a sign from the spirits that she was too close to completion, so she actually ordered the unfinished front half of the house to be boarded up, so never to be completed, essentially.
Wow.
That portion of the home is now open, but signs of damage from the earthquake are still clearly visible. Okay, so now let's discuss some more of the spookier side of this mystery mansion. Fun little fact, in 1924, Houdini visited the Winchester mansion during his nationwide tour to sort of debunk the ghostly activity. So even he had heard about, like, this crazy mansion and, like, what was going on, you know, with Sarah Winchester and everything.
Wow.
Yeah. In 2014, paranormal, and I've seen this episode, paranormal investigator Zach Bagans of Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures visited the mansion, and he brought along Sylvia Brown and a medium by the name of, or psychic by the name of Sylvia Brown, and a medium named James Van Prague, I'm assuming.
Is Sylvia Brown the psychic that was on the show when Amanda Berry, when her mom went on it?
On Ghost Adventures?
No, on, like...
Oh, that name does ring a bell.
I think she might have been the psychic that told Amanda Berry's mom that she was dead.
Oh. Because one of the, did you ever watch the show, Ghost Adventures?
I haven't because I get really freaked out, but I should.
Well, there's an investigator, and I guess she considered herself somewhat of a psychic. That was her and her husband, like, frequently were guests on the show, and he killed her and then killed himself. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and, like, everyone thinks that he was like possessed and all this stuff because of, like, what they did.
Right.
Let's see. Yeah, it was her.
Oh, all right.
That's crazy. All right, so we don't believe what she said.
Yeah, we don't believe what she says because she told Amanda Berry's mom that Amanda Berry was no longer alive, even though she was.
Yeah. Well, allegedly, these 2 people channeled Sarah Winchester in a seance dinner. So, you know, like a dinner with a seance. I don't know. I've never heard of that, but allegedly they did. A
seance dinner. A dinner with
like
a seance.
Eating,
yeah.
Like holding hands. Sounds riveting.
Yeah.
So they claim to have channeled Sarah Winchester, and the medium claimed that Sarah expressed happiness that the house had so many visitors, which I don't know. I have like a 50-50 thing on those kind of people. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, but then other times I'm like, you're full of shit. You're just trying to make money.
I feel like, I don't know if Sarah would be happy that people were visiting. Like, I feel like she would be, like, freaked out that people were...
Like, something would happen.
Yeah.
And, like, disrupt the spirits or something.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there have been, like, other paranormal investigative teams that have gone out there. I think Ghost Hunters, which is another show, I think they went out there.
Yeah.
And just, like, you know, those kind of crowds it draws, of course.
Yeah.
But both visitors and employees claim to have seen, like, spooky sightings.
Okay. I mean, you know, I definitely believe that spooky things happen. So, you know.
Yeah, me too.
Could be very true.
I do. I believe in, you know, presences and things like that. So a number of employees, as well as some visitors, like I said, claim to have come across a man named Clyde, aka the Wheelbarrow Ghost, who has a little mustache and is sometimes seen pushing a wheelbarrow in the basement or trying to repair the fireplace in the ballroom. He has been described to management like, wow, we really like the actor who was repairing the ballroom fireplace wearing white overalls and a Victorian boater hat. And the management is like, we don't have any actors. We've never hired any actors.
Oh my God.
So it actually came to light that there was a former worker on the property known as Clyde, who seems to now be a popular resident at the Winchester estate.
Okay.
And one of the websites I use, which I'll, of course, source them all in the notes, the show notes below. But there's actually a picture of him, or a picture of, a group of men from, that time. And he's the one on the far right. And he looks spooky to me. He doesn't look like some friendly,
all right,
white overall Victorian boater hat guy. He looks like, because they're all not smiling. They're just kind of, gazing into the camera.
Right.
So,
I mean, that's definitely sounds very spooky-ooky.
Yeah. There are also reports of gentle tugs on clothing during tours, and another report from a longtime maintenance worker named Denny, who claimed one morning after entering the water tower, he heard the patter of little footsteps above him. So he went up to let the trespasser know that the 3-story structure was off limits, but the footsteps always seemed to be one step ahead or one floor above, and his search ended up on the roof with absolutely no one in sight.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Yeah. I've heard footsteps before, and that is a creepy feeling, because it's my mind always goes to an actual person, an intruder, not a ghostly person. Yeah. So that's more terrifying to me.
When we moved into our house was when the trend on TikTok was going around where you use that filter to see if there's anybody in your house. And I wanted to do it so bad, but we had just moved in. And I was like, if I do this and see something, I will lose my shit.
I can't live here anymore. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Those videos freaked me out so much.
Yeah. I never did those either because of that exact reason. Because I was like, I have to continue living in this place. And the house that I used to live in, someone actually did die there. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah. And you would definitely see and hear things there.
Yes, I definitely did. And it was uncomfortable to say the least.
Well, I'm glad you're not there anymore.
Yeah, me too. So the most commonly reported supernatural occurrences is the appearance of shadowy human-shaped manifestations. Shadow figures that resemble people are reportedly seen roaming around corners, down long hallways, and appearing in windows. In 2015, a former marketing director employed by the house actually captured a photo where there appears to be a human-shaped apparition looking out from the second-story window onto the front gardens. I saw the picture, and honestly, it was very difficult for me to make out a person. There's it's a glare more so, but it's definitely... There's a contrast between all the other windows and that window, so I could see how someone would think that.
Yeah.
The Winchester Mystery House was named one of Time magazine's top 10 most haunted houses in America. So that's a big title.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty, yeah.
So as of now, the mansion is available for tours. There is a self-guided tour and the Sarah Winchester Garden Tour, which is a tour of the outside premises of the home, which is on 6 acres, I believe. So that's a pretty good-sized tour, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The garden tour has many points of interest, such as the greenhouse, a tank house, and a fruit drying shed. which I just thought that was funny. I don't know why. And there are also flashlight tours around Halloween and every Friday the 13th.
Oh, nope.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I think that would be kind of cool. I don't know. I like spooky stuff like that. Like, I'm all into it. Like, balls to the wall, ready to get scared and spooky.
I like reading about it. I don't like
being in
experiencing it. Yeah, like I can read about it, hear it, listen to it, watch it, but not in person. I'm good.
I can get that. So that is the spooky and tragic tale of Sarah Winchester and the Winchester Mystery Mansion. And I just love that story so much. I don't know why. I guess because it's like history and spooky stuff, which are two things I find really interesting.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to share it with you guys. So I hope some of you haven't heard it and it's a new little tale and you can share it with your friends and get all spooky and scared.
Yeah. Oh, that was so good. And even though I've heard it, like I didn't remember a lot of that. So
yeah. That
was like, I am full on spooked and ready for Halloween.
Yeah. So this one, I hope you guys did enjoy. I hope that you liked it. As always, make sure you're following us over on Instagram at Inhuman_podcast. I will be sharing all the spooky pictures that I came across, and you guys, of course, are welcome to tell us what you think, as well as just pictures of Sarah and her husband, William, and anything else that pertains to the Winchester Mansion. Like Kaylee said at the top of the episode, make sure you are leaving us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts if that's where you're listening, because we do read them all and we do appreciate them, and keep doing it.
Yeah, and we also have been having some more people joining our Facebook group, and there's been some not a ton of discussion necessarily, but I've been seeing more people join and looking at the posts and stuff. So yeah, we love to post in there as well and see your guys' comments on things like that, especially cases like this that are kind of more like, what's your opinion? What do you think is going on? So yeah, be sure to join that as well. It's Inhuman Podcast, Inhuman, a true crime podcast.
I think it's Inhuman, a true crime podcast, and
on Facebook.
Also, make sure, I'm trying to get back into posting on our TikTok, which is Inhuman Podcast.
Yeah, Inhuman Podcast.
We have like the worst brains.
We should probably change our TikTok to be Inhuman_podcast so that it's the same as our Instagram and Twitter.
I was thinking that too, but I didn't know if someone already had it, and that's why we didn't do that to begin with, but...
No, I think I didn't, when I created it, I didn't do it because...
Just didn't think about it.
Yeah, but
okay, that's fine.
We will most likely change our TikTok to Inhuman_podcast.
Yes. So make sure you're following us over there as well, unless there's anything else you want to input.
No, that was really good. I'm really excited that you did a spooky case.
Yeah. I have a couple more, I think, planned. Well, at least one more planned before Halloween, so.
All right.
Yeah.
I might do one or two also. I have to decide if there's some I want to cover, but.
Okay. Well, thank you guys.
That was really good.
Thank y'all so much for listening, and we will catch up with you on Thursday. And until then, keep it human.
Bye.